This is Dugout Chatter with McKay Giffen and Jacob Williams. Welcome to the Dugout.
How's everyone doing today? Welcome back to Dugout Chatter. I'm McKay Giffen.
And I'm Jacob Williams. And just to let everybody know, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit us up on our social media platforms. Instagram, dugout.chatter, and then Facebook, dugout.chatter16. And also, the best way to support our channel is to make sure you hit this red subscribe button below. Make sure you leave a like and leave a comment. We're still a new and up-and-coming channel, as I always say, and if you're going to leave a comment, leave a comment that is help support the channel, whether it's something we need to work on or it's something that we're doing good. So, McKay, let's start us out. What do you want to? Any big news or anything going so far?
Yeah, so guys, our last couple videos, we've been getting some big topics in baseball. The Yankees won their first division title since 2012 against the Angels for that clincher and 100 games won. Brought up a question. They haven't won a World Series in 10 years, so if Aaron Boone doesn't produce, could he be on the hot seat before that? A lot of people like to talk about baseball being 162 games long. Is that too long or just right? So, Jacob, why don't you lead us off with your fact of the day?
So, fact of the day today, for the first time since Major League Baseball expanded their season games to 162 games, they did that in 1961. At least 4 teams or more have more than 100 losses in the loss column, and those 4 teams are the Miami Marlins, the Kansas City Royals, the Detroit Tigers, and of course the Baltimore Orioles. So that's my fact of the day. 4 teams so far this year, with the week left to go, have eclipsed 100 or more losses. Second time that 4 or more teams have done that since 1961.
So do you think that has to do with kind of how teams are more about the rebuild process, why teams would be losing as much? Because we're kind of putting all our eggs in one basket. So we'll take the 100 losses now for a potential World Series down the line. Do you think that has to do with it, Jacob?
I don't think so much of that. It's tough to say because it's like if you know you're not going to be in it, then what does it matter?
Don't want to give up pieces.
Losing 80 games to 100 games if it'll put you in a better position to go and acquire better players. But this isn't like the NFL or the NBA to where draft picks are so important. Draft picks are important, but there's so many draft picks in Major League Baseball's draft that I feel like it's more about getting the right players, and developing it. I feel like it's more about developing players than actually the draft picks and really tanking for good picks. So I would say that obviously you want to go out there and win every single day, and you're trying to get new guys some experience. It's not good having these teams so bad.
That brings us to another big piece of news in baseball. CC Sabathia played his last homestead in New York, and he was honored in a ceremony. He threw out the first pitch to his mother. His whole team was out on the field. A lot of guys around the league had a lot of great things to say about CC, the competitor he is, the teammate, one of the greatest left-handed pitchers in baseball history. Clayton Kershaw was saying that about Sabathia, and we all know how dominant Kershaw is, except in the postseason. So, what are some words you'd have to say about the legacy CC?
I would have to say, obviously, one of the few pitchers to reach the milestone of 3,000 strikeouts. He's been playing the game for a long, long time. Every time he goes out there, he plays the game the right way, always plays the game with class.
Always stands up for his teammates.
A lot of people don't remember when he was with the Brewers and he was in the National League. He was a really good hitter as well. People forget about that. Definitely a Hall of Famer. It's awesome to see him go out the right way because a lot of players don't really get to go out, that way, and he deserves it. He will definitely be missed, and he's a good dude. He really paved the way for pitchers that losing their stuff and losing their velocity, finding another way to get outs and changing the style of pitching that he is, and he really. I feel like he paved the way for a lot of pitchers to show that, hey, just because your velocity goes down, your career doesn't have to go down, or your effectiveness doesn't have to go down as well. And he's one of the greatest of all time. So salute to you, CC.
Yeah.
I'm not a Yankees fan, but it was awesome seeing that and seeing the emotion.
One quick thing I want to say about him on the Brewers: he was throwing on 3 days rest every day and led them to the postseason.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a bulldog competitor.
As well as hitting bombs and getting clutch base hits for that club as well.
Imagine how that has to build up your team morale. This guy's going out and doing it. Everyone else got to be fired up too.
And then also Ned Yost announced today that at the end of the season he will be retiring. McKay, any words about Ned Yost and the kind of guy that he was?
I mean, I'd pick one word: brilliant. In that small of a market in Kansas City, he led them to their first World Series victory in 35 years back in 2015. I mean, he managed guys on a small salary and a bunch of young players, along with some veteran help with guys like Edison Volquez along the way. Just a really good manager and navigated his team through the playoffs, especially coming off that L to the Giants.
Yeah, and a little factoid about Ned Yost, he is the all-time winningest Royals manager with 744 wins. So then that brings us into the question of the day, and the reason why you guys clicked on this video is which drought, McKay, do you think is going to end soonest? We're talking about postseason. We're talking about teams that are going to be playing in the postseason. The Dodgers have clinched. The Nationals have not clinched quite yet. The Dodgers, McKay, they have won 7 consecutive division titles, yet they're goose egg in the World Series titles.
Yeah, for almost 40 years.
And the Nationals have consistently got into the playoffs the past decade, yet they cannot find a way to get to the championship series. These teams will probably, if the Nationals can get past the wild card stage, they'll meet up in the playoffs. What do you think is going to be? What's more probable drought is going to end? The Dodgers finally getting over the hump and winning a ring, or the Nationals finally being able to win a division series?
Well, the Senators couldn't do it, but the Nationals can. Because I'm going to tell you one reason that the Dodgers won't win the World Series is because it's the Yankees' year. I'm sorry, you guys had your chances for the last 7 years. You didn't take advantage of it. You haven't won a World Series in almost 4 years. It'll stay that way. It's the Yankees' turn. It's been a decade. I'm starving. But the Nationals, it's not as difficult to get past the division series as it is to win it all, and that's one reason why too. They've always had a consistently good team. Anthony Rendon's picked it up for them this year after the loss of Harper, which really wasn't that tragic, especially for the money in the performance. So I see the Nationals getting past the division series. What about you, Jacob?
I probably have to differ with you on that, McKay, just because.
Bro, I know you're not a Yankees fan. You don't have to be so
I'm
salty.
not saying. Who knows? I don't even predict the Yankees getting to the World Series, none less actually winning it.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
So to say that, I think the Dodgers losing in the World Series the past 2 years, they are so hungry to finally get over that hump.
Or they're looking for the hat trick.
They're not. I don't know if they're trying to be the Bills and lose 4 straight like the Bills did in the Super Bowl. But they're so deep. You could say they're probably the most deep baseball team in Major League Baseball.
The Yankees are pretty deep.
Absolutely, but I think I don't see the Nationals being able to get past the Dodgers, even if they get past the Brewers in that wild card game. So I say the more probable is going to be the Dodgers winning a chip, finally getting over the hump and winning a World Series. You have guys that have experience in the postseason. You have guys that have won in the postseason. A lot of these national guys haven't been in the postseason, even though the Nationals have been like Juan Soto, Trey Turner, Steven Strasburg. He hasn't pitched a lot in the postseason.
When he's dominated. Remember the NLDS against the Cubs? He brought it.
Yeah, but I still think I have to see it to believe it. I've seen it with the Dodgers. They have gotten at least to a World Series. The Nationals, I'm going to have to see it to believe it, so I'm going with Dodgers.
All right, you'll see it.
All right, so I think that concludes another edition of us Dugout Chatter. And like I always say, make sure you hit us up on social media, Instagram, dugout.chatter, Facebook, dugout.chatter16. And as McKay and I always say,
see you in the dugout.